ETF Inspector, where we go over holdings and trades in the YieldMax Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF, also known as ULTY or ULTY. Happy Friday. It's payday for our ULTY distributions. So if you want to put in the comments how many shares you have or what kind of a payout you got. I only have 300 shares right now. I share my my dividend account on the weekends, but so 300 shares, I got like $35. Obviously hoping to build that up and talk to some other people in some of the comments with a whole lot more shares than that. So but it's Friday, it's May 9th. Here I am again, almost 10 o'clock at night. Not the kind of time I like to be up, but kids' sports obviously take the priority, and not complaining. I love watching the kids play sports. So got a lot to go over today. It's Friday's always a crazy busy day for these funds. Actually, we'll go over the holdings first, and then we'll go over the trades that were made today. So I know I go over this every time, but just in case somebody new watching, I like to put today's close over here. That way you get to see a change compared to, how much it went up or down, and a change in market value. And so the only way I can do that is it keeps everything on this side as it was before. So this isn't updated, right? The market value, obviously the previous close is the previous close, but the amount of shares or the options, right, that could have changed in the trades today. So after I get done making the video, then I move all the today's close prices over to previous close. I update everything from the trades, and then that'll tell us a new value. So getting started, ASTS went up 2%, making an increase in market value of about $165,000. Alibaba, or BABA, lost about 3.37% or $32,000. Coin lost almost 3.5% or $330,000. And again, right, so they didn't actually lose this money because they didn't sell, right? It just went down in value by that much. Carvana went down 6.1% or nearly $1 million, $870,000. This is just their treasuries. First Solar, FSLR, went up over 5% or $300,000. Hims and Hers, HIMS, went up 1%, 1.09 for $154,000 in market value gain. Robinhood up a little over 1% for $125,000. IONQ lost 1.79% or $185,000. Mara Holdings went up 10%. What a big day on a Friday too. That's rough. So they were doing good with their call until they went up. They were under. Then they went up 10%. Ended up probably having to pay to close that. We'll find out in a little while. MP Materials Corp, or MP, lost almost 8% or $532,000. I forgot to say Mara went up in value over $900,000. MicroStrategy up 0.4% or $62,000. Cloudflare, or ticker NET, up almost 6.5% or $441,000. Nvidia down 0.6% or $73,000. Oklo up 4.23% or $342,000. Palantir, PLTR, lost 1.55% or $244,000. Reddit up a little over 0.5% or $63,000. Rigetti, one of these days I'll actually watch something to get the pronunciation right, up 2.6% or $94,000. RH down 1.18%, 47,000. SMCI, Super Microcomputer Inc., down 0.37% or $16,000. The small cap leveraged 3x leveraged fund, TNA, lost 0.72% or 73,000. TQQQ, the Pro Shares, Ultra Pro QQQ 3x leveraged fund, lost about 0.25%, 34,000. Tesla went up almost 4.75% or $618,000. Upstart Holdings lost 1.59% or 167,000. Vertiv Holdings down 1.75%, 120,000, and Vistra Corp lost 3.66% or 361,000. I feel like I just assume everybody knows what we're going over, right? So this is the fund ULTY. These are all the positions that they hold within it, right? So in gray is the actual stock that they own, and then all the white underneath it is all the options that they buy and sell related to it. So we're making money based off of if any of these pay a dividend, and then we're also making money if they go up in value, and then we're making money if they are successful in their options trades. So we had a lot of swings, but overall it really resulted in about a $200,000 increase. So we've seen much bigger swings than that, so it's pretty right down the middle. Okay, ULTY closed at $6.02, and again, this NAV isn't accurate, but it's going to be real close, right? Because the net assets don't update until I move everything over. So, and actually, I think a bunch of people sold out of the fund because I think that number went back down. I could check it real quick at the end. All right, so we went up value-wise. We went up $208,000. Trades. This is what takes all the time putting this together. So when you download the trades by YieldMax, you have to scroll down, find ULTY, and then look at all these trades. Fridays are the worst. That's a lot of work. All right, so I take all those, enter them in the spreadsheet, put a couple formulas in so we can see how they did. So I don't count when they're buying in and out of the actual stocks in the options trading profits and loss. Okay, so I show them just so we know what's going on, but then when I calculate wins and losses for the day, I don't count getting into the stock or getting out of it against those trades. Maybe I should, but who knows? I mean, they could literally have the stock for years, or they could have it for a short amount of time. So I'm not going to be able to keep track of what they actually bought it for. So when we look at this, right, I thought we got rid of GameStop the other day. I thought I was we were going to start shrinking. I'd have less to talk about, but here we go, buying into new ones. So they reduced their holding in Carvana. So that they had 50,000 shares. They sold 25,000 of them. So they still have Carvana, but now they've got half as much. They added CAVA, Snow or Snowflake, and Bull, which is Webull. So they picked up those. And then we got out of NET or Cloudflare. So we won't be talking about that one anymore. Ended that position. So for the most part, today, Friday, ends up being the day they roll everything. So they're going to buy to close, everything expire on May 9th, and sell to open, everything moving forward to next Friday. There's a few on the brand new stocks. Obviously, they don't have anything to close, so they just open things up. So we'll get started with that. Opened up a new position, right? Collar. So where they sold a call out of the money, and then they bought a put out of the money in the opposite direction. 77 cents to the positive, 55 cents to the negative for 4,000 contracts. Came up to 88,000 in our favor on that trade. Okay, same thing with CAVA. More money to be made on that one. Came up in a positive of $129,000. Coin or Coinbase, so they had a lot of positions, more than the standard. So they closed out all the May 9th, opened up the May 16th. So they just have different prices, and then even when they kept the same prices, they just did them at different times just to give me more lines to enter in, because they got different prices for them. So overall, roll into next week, turned out to be a win for the week. As far as they're concerned, $116,000. And you can see, right, they were closing out these calls for 14 cents and 9 cents. So obviously they didn't sell them like that a week ago, because here's the kind of price they get selling them, $3, $3.14. So they won these trades, and they won the trading day as well. Carvana, again, all they did was closed out a portion of the options that went along with the 25,000 shares that they sold. So they small money there. They just made $1,500. First Solar roll into next week resulted in a loss of $56,000. Right, and that's a loss. We had to pay over $3 a share to close that out. First Solar went above the strike price. Hims and hers, I don't know how we made money on that, because we got our butts kicked all week long on that. So, but they made $60,000 rolling the next week. IONQ, that one hurt a lot. $500,000 lost. Closing these out, right? Paid $2.25 to close them out. Only got 88 cents making the next one. Obviously, you're gonna pick a higher strike price so we don't blow through it. So that's also part of the reason for the reduced premium. Mara, closing these out, same thing. Another one that hurt, and we lost $668,000 on that roll. MP made $170,000. Right, got to close out the call. Only had to pay 8 cents, and we actually generally these puts should end up expiring roughly worthless. So we made money on the closeout, as well as selling the next one. All right, MicroStrategy. This one was close all week, so fortunately they were able to close that out. Now that's surprising. 415. What did MicroStrategy end at? 416. So they must have picked a great time to close that out, because if nothing else, right at the end of the day, that would cost $1.03 to close out. So they picked the perfect time if they got to close those out for 25 cents. So our traders put in the work and did well, making us money. Well, on a portion of it, right? That 415, they got 175 of them. They did well. The other 205 contracts, they got their butts kicked. So, these are just closing out the puts and then selling the new one. That's real nice premium, right? $7 on almost 400 shares, or 400 contracts. So it'd be 40 or 40,000. I don't know. My brain's not working right now. So they made $174,000. Closing out net, right? We sold all the shares of net, and then we just closed out the positions, and we took a loss to close out the options. $224,000, and then we'll be done talking about net now. Every time I update my thumbnail with the stock tickers, I got to change it. NVIDIA, rolling the next week, we made $111,000. Palantir. Palantir's slightly different, right? So they close out or is this, might be a different one. Yeah, this isn't the one. Sorry. One of them they sell a put spread on. So they made $83,000. Closing these out. Seems like they were a little close to the money. Basically, paying similar to what we're getting for the next one. Kind of washing out. But it's a win overall on the trading day for that stock. Reddit, $86,000 made. Obviously, these are wins, closing it out for 8 cents, selling the new for $2.10. RH made $33,000. If it's a win, it was a small one, right? We had to pay $2.15 to close out each contract. Snow, right? They just bought into Snow, so they went ahead and started options for next week, which made them $188,000. So Snow must have some pretty nice premium. TNA made $116,000. Closed these out, big time winner, right? Only paid 2 cents to close it out and got to sell our puts for 1 cent. So, and then sold the new ones. TQQQ, same thing, 4 cents to close it out, big time winner, $144,000 made. Sold the next one. Let's see, we only moved it up 50 cents. Same thing on TNA, we just went up 50 cents on the strike price. Tesla, we made $137,000. Got to close out the $300 calls for 83 cents. Sold $315 calls for $4.78. So that's real nice. Upstart, we made $139,000. Closed out those calls for 3 cents. Beautiful. Selling the new ones for 84. And VRT, 84, almost $85,000 made. Another win. So they collected a lot of wins this week. But unfortunately, when they took losses, they were pretty big, right? So overall, for trading for the day, they made $392,000. So it was in their favor. So far, money going towards our next distribution because we got paid out the 11.81 cents that we received today. Was based off of, they announced distribution on Wednesday morning, so obviously they don't take the trading that they made on Wednesday into account for that. So I start that accounting for the next week. So Wednesday was a win, Thursday was a win, Friday was a win. So we're off to a good start. I ran the math real quick, just divided out the money made by the amount of shares, and it came out to like 16 cents. Now we've still got 2 more trading days, Monday and Tuesday. And not to mention, they don't pay out 100%. Anything could happen. But right now, we're on track for another nice dividend next week. I don't think I'm missing anything. So I'll make a video over the weekend, right? Just talking about the trades I personally made. I made a couple trades. So I'll talk about them, but just trying to keep this one from getting too long. And I'll also make another one probably Sunday just to show the updated holdings. So we know, so all these will be updated, and we'll know how far out of the money everything is, what kind of price ranges we're looking for these stocks to trade in going into the week. All right. And before I get to the dad joke of the day, I've seen a couple times in the comments requests for another fund. I think Skittles is the screen name that has questioned that a couple times. I'm thinking maybe they're not seeing my responses. So if you've got another YieldMax fund that you're interested in, please leave it in the comments. I don't think that I could pick up another major one like this where it's just got so many stocks and so many trades. But if there's an individual one that somebody would be interested in seeing, I could probably pick up an individual or two. But again, right, so if they're the major ones, retire on dividends, he covers like MSTY and TSLY, PLTY, some of those real big ones. So I would recommend you go over and watch his channel for those. But there are a good handful of other ones. I started the channel with them before I switched over to ULTY. But all right, so we'll go to the calendar my daughters gave me for dad joke calendar. You get one every day. This one's pretty boring. What's the most patriotic sport? Flag football. So that one was so rough, I decided to find another one for you. What's the difference between black-eyed peas and chickpeas? Well, black-eyed peas can sing us a song, but chickpeas can only hum us one. All right. Enough corny jokes for the night. It's 10 o'clock. Thank you if you're watching. Thank you if you stuck around till the end. I appreciate people commenting, liking, watching, and sharing. And please come back for the next one. Have a good night.